beauty babes, I'm Racquelle and this is Perfected Beauty. In today's video, I have all the makeup tools that you need in order to create a flawless base. So this is kind of like a part 2 to a video that I did previously in which I told you all of the makeup products that you need in order to get started with doing makeup. This one is going to be the tools version. So I have makeup brushes, makeup sponge, and just a few other tools that I personally use. Some of them are going to be optional and some of them I think are absolutely necessary for you to get started with doing makeup. So first things first, in my own personal opinion, it doesn't matter the brand of brush that you use. Most of my brushes actually are not like a specific brand. I actually prefer to go to stores like TJ Maxx and Ross and even like Walmart around the holiday season because they will have kits of a few different face brushes, a few different makeup brushes, and a lot of times they're hit or miss, but if you know what you're looking for, then you can make sure that every brush that you would need is going to be in that gift set. And then you're paying way less than you would at any of these other like websites or anything like that to get your brushes, because brushes can get expensive and I have not paid very much money for any of the brushes that I have. And I'm a makeup artist, so I do other people's makeup as well, so I have way more brushes than I need, so I kind of condensed it down to basically everything that I needed to do this face that I'm wearing for you. So the first makeup tool that I have for you today, I guess it could be considered a makeup tool or a makeup product, but it's the Neutrogena makeup wipe. I always start off a makeup look, whether it's on myself or on a client, by wiping off the face first, because you want to make sure that you have a clean palette, a clean canvas to create your beautiful work of art on. So I find that it's just quickest, it's easiest to do that with a makeup wipe. I personally love the Neutrogena makeup wipes. I'm obsessed with them. I have tried other makeup wipes. I haven't found anything that works as effectively, as quickly as the Neutrogena makeup wipes do. So I am a huge fan of these. I actually buy these in bulk. I go to Sam's Club and they have like a huge box of them that you can get for less than you would if you were just buying the single packet. So that is the first thing on our list. The next thing on our list is going to be an eyebrow brush. If you're going to be using brow mascara, then obviously you won't need a brow brush, but if you're using a pomade or if you're using a powder, then you need a brow brush. And one of the things I love about the brow brush that I have is that the tip of it is a very thin tip. So basically it's an angled brush. A lot of times you'll see this labeled as a liner brush if you're going to be using cream eyeliner, and I find that those make for the best brow brushes because you can get really detailed hair strokes if that's what you're going for. You can get really thin and clean lines and you don't have to worry so much about cleaning up after the fact. Yeah, so as far as an eyebrow brush, what I would suggest that you look for is something that's pretty thin up at the tip, like it tapers off to be pretty thin, and something that's on an angle. So 9 times out of 10 it will be labeled as a cream liner brush or as an eyeliner brush. This one is from one of those gift sets, but it's from, I think, one that I got at Target. Sonia Kashuk. I have no idea how to say the brand, but this one I did get at Target. I got it a little while ago. Moving on to number 3 is a concealer brush, and this specific concealer brush is for cleaning up underneath the eyebrows. I love it because it's teeny tiny, so you can really get very close to your eyebrows without messing up everything you've got going on, and it's rounded. The round shape really helps to get it up close to your eyebrow, and it just feels really natural to clean up your eyebrow with this brush. Now I call it a concealer brush, but I don't really use this for under my eyes. I will use it to like place the concealer down if I'm not using the concealer straight out of the concealer tube, but I don't really use a brush for the concealer under my eyes. I use my sponge for that. Moving on, that is gonna be the next thing. So this was actually in my first video of the makeup products that you need, but I'm putting it in this video as well. It's the makeup sponge. So obviously you can use whatever makeup sponge that you like, but I use this so many times and for so many things in my makeup routine. I use it for blending out my concealer onto my eyelids. I use it for applying my foundation. I use it for blending out the concealer in my highlighter areas. I use it for blending out my contour. I use it for baking my concealer with powder. I literally use this for so many things, and it's part of the reason why I don't have that many brushes in front of me today that I think you need, because a lot of it can be replaced with a makeup sponge. So please, 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 please get a makeup sponge. And I actually used this makeup sponge today on my face, and you can see that it's clean. You really want to make sure you clean your makeup sponges. I don't think a lot of people know how to do that very quickly and easily and effectively. If you want me to put out a video on that, leave a comment below, because I would love to make a video. It's super easy, it's super quick on how I clean my makeup sponges. Moving on, I have a powder brush, your regular domed powder brush. I love it because it's not too big, because what I actually use this for is setting under my eyes before I bake. So I find that if I just apply my concealer and then go right in with a baking powder, it will cling to the concealer more than I want it to, and it'll sometimes give me like the whole white under eye or the yellow under eye because I use a yellow baking powder, and it's just not really the look that I'm going for. So I like to set my under eye concealer before I bake, and so for that I'll use just a fluffy brush, something that can fit under there really nicely. I just tap it on lightly. You could do it with a sponge, but I find a sponge is better at packing powder, and with a brush you can just dust the powder on really lightly. This one is a BH Cosmetics brush. I do love BH Cosmetics brushes. Search their website. They have so many different brush sets. They are pretty affordable. If you don't have any luck in like TJ Maxx or Ross getting any of those brush sets, you can go to BH Cosmetics. I also have some Morphe brushes in here. Moving on, I have the brush that I use for cream contour. Now this one I guess is optional, because if you're not cream contouring, then clearly you won't need the brush. For myself personally, I use the Anastasia Beverly Hills Cream Contour, and for that I use this. It's actually a foundation brush, so it's a flat brush and it's domed. It really helps me to get into the pan, apply the contour where I want it. I like to be very specific and strategic with the placement of my contour, because I don't want to have like a whole muddy cheek thing going on. I just want it to be where I want it to be, and then I blend it out with my sponge. So I literally just use this brush for placement, and then I might feather it out a bit with the brush, but then I always go back to my sponge and I blend that out. So this is, like I said, a lot of times marketed as a foundation brush, but I don't even use a brush to put my foundation on. I kind of just like tap it on from the bottle, or if it's a pump, then you know I pump it and put it on. So I don't use it as a foundation brush, but I love it as a cream contour brush. Next up I have the brush that I use for my powder contour. So after I have on my foundation, my concealer, my cream contour, and my concealer is set, I will set my cream contour with a powder contour. And for that I like to use this brush. It is domed. It's not quite as like big and fluffy and domed as my powder brush that I use for under my eyes. I like that it's smaller because, again, I like to be pretty precise with my placement of my contour. So I like that it's smaller because it fits really nicely on my cheek, and then I just go in and blend out that contour that way and set it with that powder contour. So I love it. I usually use it kind of on the side. I don't really go on the top of it. I'll have it on the side, and that really blends it up really nicely because all of the fluffiness is up towards the top of my cheek, so it really just blends it beautifully. This is from a pack of brushes that I got from Walmart. Like I said, a lot of times you will get lucky with those kits. If you're nice to your brushes, if you don't like, you know, dunk them in water and anything like that, then they can last you a good amount of time. And I didn't spend a lot of money on this brush at all, but I use it all the time and I love it. Moving on, I have a nose contour brush. So this is actually just a crease brush for your eyes, but I like to use a smaller brush than the one I use for my cheeks, so again I can be precise with how I'm placing my nose contour. And I find that I just love this crease brush because it's tapered. I can use like the very tip of it for the thinner parts. I can lay it on its side for the larger parts and really just get the contour exactly how I like it. So any like fluffy crease brush will work great for that. They do have some brushes that are specifically for nose contouring, but a lot of times they're like a flatter, more domed shape, and that's just not my jam. This is my jam. I absolutely love it. We have the blush brush, and I think this is actually actually marketed as a blush brush. So this is one of the brushes that I actually use for what it was created for, but there really aren't any rules for makeup. You use what you like, how you like it, and if it comes out with a flawless finish, then you're good to go. Like, who's gonna check you? So this is a blush brush. This is from that same Sonia Kashuk Target pack that I got my eyebrow brush from. It's not really densely packed, but it's fluffy and it's tapered. So really I just like tap my blush on and then I'll just feather it back towards my hairline, and this is perfect for this. I don't load it too much. I like that it's big. It covers like pretty much my whole cheek with 1 or 2 taps. So this is perfect for that. Moving on to my highlight brush. This is not a highlight brush. This is an e.l.f. brush, and I think that it was meant for eyes, but I love it because it's really densely packed, so you really get a good like pow from putting your highlighter on with this. I love the impact that you get, and it's pretty small, so I can use it on the highest point of my cheek. If I want it to be like a larger surface area, then I blend it out larger, but I can also use the same brush on my nose, under my eyebrow. I love that I can highlight my entire face with this, because a lot of the times like the fan brushes are just far too large to use on your nose or use on your lip without like it spilling everywhere. Like, I don't want my whole face to be glittery, you know what I'm saying? I don't want my whole face to have highlighter on it. I want it to be where I place it. Now I'm gonna be moving on to the kind of optional things, like things that you don't really need, but I personally use every time I'm doing my makeup. First thing is this eyebrow spoolie. A lot of times eyebrow brushes will come with a spoolie on the other end. You can use just like a disposable mascara wand, whatever you want, but I like to give my eyebrows a good brush through once I have my products placed down, just to make sure it's nice and blended and diffused and it doesn't look, you know, too harsh or anything like that. Also optional is a makeup palette. I love my makeup palette. I use it for many things. I'm also a makeup artist, so the reason I have it is like for sanitation purposes. If I'm using a product that I also use on a client, I want to make sure that I'm following sanitary procedures and, you know, not dipping back into the product after it's been on my face. But also it helps if, like, say you need to blend your foundation, you need like your little in between your winter and your summer skin and you need to mix it somewhere. You could mix it on the back of your hand or you can mix it on your makeup palette. So this basically replaces the back of the hand that most people who do makeup use. So you could get this or not get this. It's not going to make or break your makeup routine really, but I personally love it. And then last up, I just have my tweezers. I actually started doing my eyelashes without tweezers and I couldn't figure out how to use the tweezers, but once I figured out how to use tweezers applying my eyelashes, now I don't know how to do it without it. Like, I literally, well, I do know how to do it without it, but I can't get it as close to the lash line as I personally like to have it without the tweezers. So I love my tweezers. A lot of people do not use tweezers when they're putting on their lashes, and a lot of people don't wear fake eyelashes. So that's kind of why this is like an optional tool as well, because if you don't wear fake eyelashes, then you don't really need them. But I love them, and if I don't have tweezers when I'm putting on my eyelashes, it is a struggle day for lashes. So those are all of the makeup tools that I personally recommend you have if you're going to get started with doing makeup. I hope that video was helpful for you guys. If it was, please subscribe to my channel because my goal is to continue to bring you helpful content. Also hit the notification bell so that you can be notified as soon as I upload a new video. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, and I'll catch you in the next one.